guess I should start reading out the Reddit comment that I get. Hi, thank you so much for doing this. Can you please review this game? I was the Enchantress. Even though we won, I felt like I didn't do enough. Okay. So we're just waiting for the replay to open. There we go. Alright. So... second. Trying to think of what I want to say right now. What, do you have a support Terrorblade here? I think these starting items are probably fine. I think instead of Fairy Fire, you want to have some additional stats. Just because you've got Nature's Attendance. Sure, Fairy Fire plus Nature's Attendance might be... might allow you to survive, but... I mean... Fairy Fire is fine. It's underbought. 85 health. It's a lot of health. Not only is it the most damage efficient item in the game, but it's also the most HP efficient item in the game if you can get it off. Alright, so this ward, I think you should have due to your high base move speed. A lot of times what I want to do in order to ensure that I get my ward off, I just run immediately down and I go in these trees, and then from here I put a ward like right here, and that's if I'm not trying to like block this camp. But oftentimes, especially at lower MMRs, if you just run immediately down and put your ward right here, it's not going to get dewarded. Plus, as Enchantress, you don't really want to block these camps. You want to... And this is also why you shouldn't have skilled yet. Because Untouchable at level 1 is much worse than it was before. So I would have preferred if you not necessarily got enchant level 1, but waited for these camps to spawn, and if there's a creep that's I don't know how used to microwing creeps you are as Enchantress, but if there's like an easier creep, you know, one that just like has a nuke, like a satyr here or a harpy here, just get that and spam the nuke, and that's not that difficult, and it increases your laning presence by a large margin. I'm not saying, you know, like if there's a centaur here, the centaur is probably not worth picking up. I mean, just the tank for you, but you got to make sure you don't feed it. So you're just right clicking this guy right now. Did a lot of damage to him. Support Wraith King, support Terrorblade. It's quite a game. See, you didn't even take any harass. It would have been better if you were... Like, if you scaled an enchant right there and slowed the Wraith King, he might have died. That's why you gotta wait to skill. And, I don't like this decision to attempt to pull the creep wave. Because you already saw what you're up against, and these heroes can't really zone you out of lane completely. At least until Luna is like level 5. Constantly spamming Lucent Beam. So going for that pull was definitely not to your advantage, especially since they have I mean, there's a guy who was going to stun you right there. I mean, it ended up accomplishing the same thing. The equilibrium is way in your favor and they can't walk up at all now. But you probably would have been better off just playing the lane normally. And that's probably an example of, you know, trying to go for a play but not understanding why you go for it. So in a lane like this, where you just want to right click as much as possible, and since you went for the untouchable already and didn't get the enchant, I'd still like it if you went back for the enchant, because this Satyr Tormentor, 4 nukes, 160 damage each, and you get this Unholy Aura, 5.5 health regen. That's 800, that's over an 800 gold item right here, if you compare it to Ring of Health. And all it costs you is like 60 mana, I believe. Fuck is Ring of Health? Yeah, 5 HP. This is 5.5. 160. That's like a level... pretty much like a level 2 nuke. And it has a really good range. Yeah, it's got a low cooldown. It's do it twice, 4 times in fact, not twice. Like, imagine if you used your Satyr Tormentor nuke on Luna here. She would have had to go back to base already. And that was a pretty big mistake, committing enchant and not getting kill. Because now you can't get the Satyr, you can't get the, you know, the Hellbear. I mean, you're doing fine in this lane, but you should be completely destroying them. You should be teaching this Wraith King why Wraith King isn't a support hero. And you aren't right-clicking this guy nearly enough. What you want to be doing is just right-clicking him. I mean, you've got untouchable. You're not going to be... You can just back off the creep wave before you start taking damage from them. Should just be, if this guy is within like 200-300 range of this range creep, you should be walking up without right-clicking him and then right-clicking him to get him to back off the fucking creep wave. He shouldn't be getting this CS right here. Even though there's a Wraith King, like, you know, quote-unquote guarding him right there, he still should be afraid to get that CS. It's actually a result of your play that this Luna has 4 kills right now. I mean, I'll clarify that. It's not solely a result of your play, but if you were doing your job correctly, it wouldn't have happened. If that makes sense. If I had to pick, yeah, the biggest mistake you've made so far this game is just not walking over here and getting this satyr. If that guy lived, it would have been pretty embarrassing. Keep right-clicking that guy. Now you should be impetusing him as much as possible. Like, do you have vision of him? Alright, so you've got a catapult here, and what you want to do with catapults is time your aggression with the catapult. So, and I'm not sure if you did this on purpose or you unwittingly did it, but you shoved in the lane, and you guys took a fight once there was the catapult. And now, after you take the fight, what do you do with the catapult? You take the tower. And it's possible to do it with the 5-minute catapult, but you have to dumpster the opposing lane so hard that you can tower dive them, which is what happened in this case. And I gotta stop saying dumpster. I say it way too often. Okay, so if you played correctly here, you could have just taken this tower. You should have stayed with the Terror Blade and Fear Spirit and just kept the catapult alive at all costs. You could have used Nature's Attendant heal to tank the tower for the catapult. You could have used Glyph of Fortification to keep the catapult alive. But this tower should have already been dead. And as a result of this tower being alive, they just get a bit more space on the map. Like this entire fight wouldn't even be happening here. It would be happening over here somewhere if this tower was dead already. See, this puck shouldn't have had the opportunity to rotate down at all. And it's just having a ripple effect on the game, the fact that you didn't take the tower right then. Now, Wraithkin can TP back here. Not that that's necessarily a good TP, but Luna going to get her level 6. and land. And if nothing else, don't forget about dominating the enemy catapult. I don't know what that was. You probably just thought that the Enigma didn't have black hole. But while that was happening, like, there were way too many heroes here. While that was happening, you could have just been punishing the fact that this was happening over here and they weren't killing nearly quickly enough by dominating this catapult, shoving in the lane, and getting this tower really quick. You could have done it, I believe. And let me see your items. I think these items are fine. If you're playing correctly though, you could have already had like a dragon lance in addition to these items though. Like, your lane was ridiculously free. So you could have easily had like a close to 1900 more net worth now. So what ends up happening in this game, because you guys didn't take the catapult with the 5-minute catapult, this tower going down gets delayed by 7 minutes. Or, less than that, but, it just gets delayed. See, now that this is pushed in all the way, you can make this play on Luna. Because... and you didn't end up getting it, but the way that you make plays is you don't just go for it, you push in the lane, and then somebody has to come deal with this, because it's just taking damage. Now you see Wraith King here, so if Wraith King's here, and you see Jug up here, don't see Jug up there anymore. What the fuck is this TP? Alright, what they're doing right now is just passively farming. Do you have any wards? You see Puck mid. Alright, you see Puck mid. You know that Enigma doesn't have a blink yet, so we can't easily get off a huge black hole. And you see Wraith King bottom. So what that means, since you saw Puck mid, you guys should have been going faster, but you could have dived this Enigma under tower with no repercussions, and that's exactly what ends up happening because this Puck doesn't rotate in time. And it wouldn't have done much. Maybe it would have bought time. What the hell? Alright, never mind. I mean, you didn't have vision of the Jug there. And Puck had been off the map for mid long enough for him to rotate top. So what could have actually ended up happening there was Puck coming in with a Dream Coil, coming in with an Illusory Orb, Waning Rift as well, and then Jug coming in with the Omni Slash, killing one person immediately and spinning down somebody else. So you guys should have shoved in this lane a bit faster. Um, I know I'm really only supposed to be commenting on your play, but you were part of that play, so I'm trying to help you understand what should have happened there. Alright, now it's 15 minutes and the catapults are up. You should be taking control. Okay, you took control of this creep. But you could have done this at 5 minutes. You could have taken control of the satyr at 1 minute. Had the satyr for a while, got the hellbear. How long does this last? 50. 50. That sucks. You can't keep something constantly alive at level 1. This catapult's actually going to die. It's only going to get like 1 attack off. It's not getting any attacks off. That sucks so hard. I think you need to get 2 levels in this. That sucks. That's such a nerf, honestly. I'm actually going to speed up this game a bit. Your items are fine still. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you do to fix this. The fact that you can't permanently have a creep. I guess just either go 2200 or 2200. Like you. Well, nature's attendance is a value point, so maybe you actually go WE and then 2 points untouchable, and you max untouchable from there. I think you need to get 2 points in this. You can't just you can't have a catapult die after 50 seconds. It's so fucking bad. Alright. Pushing out the lane. Farming these neutrals is pretty bad. You should have been over here next to this lifestealer. If you were already in position, you wouldn't have taken nearly as much damage, and you would have did more damage already. You guys are really destroying them in these fights, though. It's definitely really important to shove out these waves so you can like see this enigma and see this where this puck is and see where this jug is. Push out the lane as much as possible. You guys end up getting the Enigma. Yeah, you want to just harass down this guy. You should have kept that catapult alive. You could have gotten a lot of damage on this tower while your team takes mid. Not sure that I like how long you waited for that. Ended up working out. You guys turned a gank into a triple kill for sniper. Now you're pushing high ground? Nope, don't have creeps. See, this lane should have been pushed out before you guys made that play. Now instead of getting racks, you have to settle for a top 2 too. See, you gotta... Whenever you go to make a play, you always have to make sure the lanes are pushed in first, just so this situation doesn't happen. Like, you can't just go for a gank just for the sake of killing. You need to go for a gank and get damage on a tower, or go for a gank and take the tower, or go for a gank and have this lane pushed out and go for Roche. Jesus. Okay. Yeah. You could have just ignored the Wraith King and came down here and pushed this tower. Or got shrines. Got vision up. Not much more to say than that. That was pretty funny. Oh man. You'd think somebody would you'd think somebody would learn after their first time. Even if it's you buying dust, it's worth. I would say that dust has actually picked up on core just as often as support. Alright, I think I've seen enough. Alright, let me show you an example of how a high-level Enchantress player will play the lane. I like to do that in these videos. It gives some more perspective on the things that I'm saying. Plus, it provides a visual example. I'm just finding I don't really play Enchantress that often, so I'm just trying to find a replay from some Divine 5 player. Here's one from 1 hour ago, won the game. On Dire off. He might have actually been playing support Enchantress, but actually there's no way. He must have been, it must have been like a mid-tiny. Sorry. Oh, he actually goes the same build as you. Is this, yeah, I guess this build makes a lot of sense, actually. Alright, so he runs down immediately and plants a ward in the cover of trees. Just don't forget that ward has a pretty big cast range, actually. See? And they know they're not going to kill this Viper, but they don't commit to it, and they just do quite a bit of harass here. And I really don't think that Viper, maybe in the mid game, I don't think Viper is necessarily an answer for Enchantress. I don't know. I think this is a questionable pick. He's alright. Saves his skill point. Levels heal so he doesn't die. Pretty much. Or so he doesn't take way too much harass, and he gets that cooldown on Nature's Attendance going. I mean, untouchable. It used to be way better at level 1, you know? From 40 to 20. So, Nature's Attendance is probably a much better level 1 skill now. Just the fact, you know, it's 40 HP per second as long as you're only healing yourself, lasts 11 seconds. At this stage of the game, it's very difficult for really anybody to kill you through 40 HP regen per second. So, I think leveling up Untouchable is just completely wrong nowadays. There's some pauses. And he sees that these creeps aren't that good. These creeps aren't that good. So he ends up just building into the untouchable. I'm sure if he had more powerful creeps, he would be skilling it enchant and just spamming the skill up. There's the creep skill off cooldown. Maybe Viper is a answer in lane. Because you don't really want to harass the Viper because of corrosive skin. Right. So he went to the second point on untouchable, and the way he has to deal with this is just to kill these creeps as fast as possible so you can move on to the catapult since you can't take control of it. And ends up getting 550 damage on his tower taken away. Not great. Really committing to this untouchable build now. I guess shows what I know about Enchantress. He's just valuing his ability to stay in lane because there's going to be a point where it's just impossible for Viper to attack him, I suppose. Like Viper's low move. Sorry. I haven't had any coffee yet today. Viper's low move speed combined with the untouchable just means that eventually you can just outrun his attacks. Underestimating their damage, it looked like. Already used Nature's Attendance. Probably should have backed out faster. I still maintain that in your game, you should have went for the enchant, dominated the satyr, and just spammed out his nukes as fast as possible on Luna. Maybe what you actually do is go level 1 Nature's Attendance, level 2 enchant, and then you wait to, you save a point. I don't know, but all I know is if you want to have a catapult, then you need to have level 2 enchant. But these skills are so good when they're maxed. It's just kind of difficult. I'm not sure what you do. And then again, this skill is pretty good when it's maxed too. 6 second, 55% movement slow. Also purges. See? Dispel type, basic dispel. For only 65 mana. It's quite good. But these spells are better early. This spell is better in the mid game, which it's fast approaching and he has no points in it. I don't know. If I knew any high level enchant players, I would be asking them about this. we saw a bit how a high level enchantress played that. Played a lane. Didn't get any good creeps at level 1, so didn't skill enchant. But you had that the satyr and then you had the hellbear, so you probably should have skilled it. Alright, I'm ending the video now.